I was hit with the ultimate betrayal just as my wife had finished her postpartum recovery. I caught her red-handed in our home, but instead of showing remorse, she turned the tables on me. She called the police first, leveled a vicious and false accusation of non-consensual intimacy within our marriage, and just like that, I was handcuffed and hauled off to prison. 3 years behind bars felt like a lifetime. When I finally walked through those heavy iron gates, I was devastated to find that she had abandoned our 1-month-old daughter at an orphanage, also she could run off with her lover. I poured every ounce of my soul and strength into getting my poor daughter back, swearing I would give her the most dignified life imaginable. I broke my back on construction sites and hauled packages under the scorching sun for 20 years. It was a path paved with thorns, but I persevered with nothing but sheer grit, eventually building my company from the ground up. The clouds finally broke, and life was reaching its peak. But fate had one last cruel card to play. On the very eve of our company's IPO, a targeted attack crippled our core business. Overnight, my entire world collapsed. I was buried under an $80 million debt, 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears vanished in the blink of an eye. I gathered what was left of my strength to get my daughter's travel visa ready. I transferred every last cent I had left to her, my mind made up. Once I saw her safely on that plane to a new life, I intended to step off the ledge of this high rise and end the struggle. But as I stood on the windowsill, ready to let go of a life that felt like a failure, the door burst open. Standing right behind my daughter was a figure I would despise until my last breath, my ex-wife, who had long since vanished. "Marta, why are you back?" I gripped the window frame, trying to steady my shaking body as my blood ran cold. She was supposed to be halfway to Australia by now. I had watched her go through security myself. I saw her walk toward the gate without once looking back. According to my plan, by the time she landed, I would have been a cold memory. Yet here she was, standing right in front of me. "Dad," she whispered, ignoring my question. She stepped aside, pulling a familiar yet haunting figure into the light. My pupils constricted as I stared at that face. It was Laura, the woman who had stolen half my life and left scars on my soul that would never heal. The warmth in the room vanished, replaced by a chill that seemed to freeze the very air. I glared at my daughter, my heart hammering against my ribs. "Who gave you permission to be with a woman like her? Have you forgotten what she did to us?" Marta remained indifferent to my rage. She even took Laura's arm with a tenderness she had never shown me. Her voice was softer than ever, filled with protective concern for the woman beside her. "Dad, everything back then was just a misunderstanding. Mom realizes she was wrong. Can't you just be the bigger person and forgive her?" Misunderstanding? That word felt like a physical blow. Rage boiled in my mind. This woman had stepped out on me while she was still recovering from childbirth. The image of catching them together was still burned into my brain. She had maliciously framed me, letting me rot in a cell for 3 years and branding me with a reputation that made it impossible to hold my head up. Even after I was released, I found she had drained our accounts and left our infant daughter to fend for herself in an orphanage. And now, my own daughter, the one I had raised with every bit of love I had for 20 years, was dismissively calling those tragedies a misunderstanding. I looked at her, a cold shiver crawling up from the depths of my heart. This girl was a complete stranger to me. "Marta," I said, fighting to keep my voice steady, "you were in a cradle back then. You don't know the reality of what happened. That woman is a cold-hearted manipulator. She was even willing to abandon her own flesh and blood. She doesn't deserve the title of mother. She is